The video game Minecraft, especially upon its release, was one of the most open, freeing games ever. In Minecraft, you can punch through dirt, a tree, and even stone or obsidian if you're really dedicated. The world stretches out before you like a massive lump of clay to mold as you see fit. There is, however, one exception to this freedom, a block that stops you dead in your tracks with no remedy to allow you to break it. Bedrock. Under normal circumstances, it serves simply to prevent you from falling out of the bottom of the world. But what if it expanded its reach? Then what? Is it possible to beat Minecraft while all stone is bedrock? So what exactly are we dealing with here? Well, I generated a normal Minecraft world, then used some third-party software to systematically replace every single stone block in the world with bedrock. Now, when I say stone, I am strictly and specifically referring to the block that is literally just called stone, and that is it. So that means we still have blocks like cobblestone, stone bricks, andesite, and deep slate in the world. Only exactly and specifically stone has been replaced. Even so, that's a lot of blocks that are now completely impassable. So I think this challenge should still be plenty interesting. As for the rules placed upon us, it's quite simple. We are playing Minecraft as normal in survival mode on normal difficulty, without using any commands to assist us. Following those rules, our goal is to reach the end and slay the Ender Dragon. With that established, let's see how the game goes. We spawn into the world in the middle of a frozen tundra, with nothing but a bonus chest to our name. Inside that chest are some torches, wood, a bit of food, and very nicely for our purposes today, a stone axe and stone pickaxe. We'll have to cherish these stone tools as the rarities they are. Anyway, with those supplies in hand, we go forth in the tundra to gather some more materials like wood and seeds, as well as to search for a suitable place to call home. We eventually find such a place in the form of an abandoned pillager outpost. We harvest the training W's for food, and speaking of food, a chest in the tower, as it turns out, contained some potatoes we could grow later on. We also repurposed the cobblestone that makes up some of the walls of the tower, just before getting killed by a baby zombie that was unfortunately small enough to get through the 1x1 open windows on the bottom floor. Due to the lethal zombie attack, I spent a lot of the next few days securing my new home. I repurposed fences from all around the compound to build a nice fence around what I have deemed to be my property, as well as light up my property and make a furnace from the cobble walls I had harvested to cook up some sand into glass to fill my windows with. Now with basic security of my home handled, it was time to see if we could manage to extract some mineral wealth from below the surface. Now obviously one of the big differences in this challenge is the fact that we can't really dig much underground, since what would normally be a wealth of stone is now a wealth of unbreakable bedrock. Luckily though, I was able to find a gaping hole in the ground near my base, which led straight into an expansive cave network, which with some blocks and torches is pretty trivial to navigate, and get a decent bit of coal and iron while you're at it. Upon my return, I realized that I was well on track to running out of food, so I took it upon myself to build up some irrigation systems and farms to go with them. I grew wheat and potatoes on those farms. I also set up a simple tree farm at the back of my property and cultivated some sugarcane. I also lured a pair of sheep into a pen I had set up and started breeding them. All in all, this may actually be the most normal base I've ever had in one of these challenges. It'll take some time for those farms to mature, but in the meantime we can go back down into the caves and see if we can't find the next major benchmark in our adventure. Diamonds. It really is lucky that we found this cave system so close to our base, as it goes quite deep. It actually even goes below Y0, which I guess is a thing in Minecraft now? You see, back in my day, Y0 was bedrock level, as in you cannot go any lower. And actually in this challenge it's kind of the opposite, since the game switches from using stone to instead use deep slate at this level. Since we of course replaced all stone with bedrock, that means for us, above Y0 has tons of bedrock, but below there's barely any to be found. Anyway, long story short, after some spelunking, which honestly my assessment of it thus far is that it feels almost disappointingly normal, we do indeed uncover diamonds, which frees us up for the next step of our journey, the Nether. But first, we've got to gather some obsidian from this pool of lava deep below the surface. Okay, now one could argue that we should perhaps let our farms mature a bit before entering the Nether, so that we have an abundance of food and therefore are at no risk of starving in the Nether. But ain't nobody got time for that. Let's go! As usual, Nether navigation is a bit fiddly and annoying, but ultimately, after passing through a few different regions of the Nether, including this warped forest where the Endermen live, we do finally find a Nether fortress, and a blaze spawner within it. Unfortunately, the blaze spawner is in an extremely open environment, and by the time I've gotten to it, my food supplies were running dangerously low. I ended up setting up probably the worst blaze farm the world has ever seen, but I got the blaze rods and escaped from the fortress, practically starving. In an attempt to not starve, I tried hunting one of those huge nether boar things, and ended up getting thrown off a cliff by it, and dying. Yeah, I probably should let the farms mature. Realizing that the primary issue there was not bringing enough food with me, I spent the next couple hours letting my farms mature, as well as building a cobblestone generator and going caving to reconstitute my gear before venturing back into the Nether. This time things went much better, and I walked out of there with the blaze rods and ender pearls necessary to make the Eyes of Ender I would need to find the stronghold and end portal. Pinpointing the exact location of the stronghold was pretty simple, it's just a bit of triangulation. Upon actually reaching the location, though, a slight issue became blindingly obvious. Due to all the stone instead being bedrock, we can't do what we would normally do right now, which is dig straight down into the stronghold. No matter though, we'll just find some local caves in the area that may lead us into the stronghold, right? Well, the issue with that approach is you can't tell from the surface which caves actually lead to the stronghold. Added on top of that, for us specifically, is the fact that for some reason all of the caves around where the stronghold should be are completely flooded, and I didn't really come equipped for underwater exploration. So how exactly are we going to reach the stronghold then? And the answer is by way of the Nether. If we take the coordinates of the stronghold and divide the x and z axes by 8, then we have the coordinates of the stronghold in the Nether. Once we're at that location in the Nether, we just have to use some sand to build a shaft down beneath the lava sea, and from here, building a Nether portal pops us out back in the overworld in the middle of the stronghold. From there, it's just a matter of finding the end portal room, which just so happened to be in the very last room I could have possibly checked, despite only being a couple of rooms away from the room my Nether portal generated in. The portal then, of course, required a full 12 Eyes of Ender to activate, which luckily I did indeed have enough of. Now all that remains is to fight the Ender Dragon. I don't have tons of arrows, but the roughly 30 I acquired from killing skeletons during my travels and adventures proved sufficient to break all the end crystals. From there, it's just a matter of exploding several beds whose production was made possible by my sheep farm. Ultimately, the dragon is defeated, and therefore, the challenge is won. So yes, it is possible to beat Minecraft while all stone is bedrock. I hope you enjoyed joining me on this journey we've had together. If you did, you may want to check out some of my other videos on this channel, especially the numerous other Minecraft challenges I've done. Also, likes, subscriptions, ringing the bell, and leaving comments, especially comments suggesting other Minecraft challenges we could try in the future, are very much appreciated. But anyways, guys, until next time, I have been CMeeCraft, off to be crowned champion of yet another challenge. Goodbye.